Hi guys, I've been saying for some time that the Conservatives are attempting to emulate Nigel Farage or even out-Farage him. But I didn't think they would literally do it. So Chris Philp, a Tory MP, decided to go out into the middle of the English Channel and film a French naval vessel and a dinghy full of asylum seekers in the same way as Nigel Farage does. This is not helping the Conservatives. Have a listen to this.
So the government announced yesterday they had a new deal with France supposed to stop boats crossing the channel, so I thought I'd come out here and see what's going on. I'm on the English Channel, probably about 7 or 8 miles off Calais, and behind me you can see a French warship, and just next to it is a dinghy full of illegal immigrants. The French making absolutely no attempt whatsoever to stop it. They've been shadowing it for the last 3 hours. It's about 2 hours from British waters. They're going to be arriving in the UK later on today, so quite clearly the government's claims to be fixing this with their new deal are not working. The evidence is right behind me on the English Channel, and the French doing absolutely nothing whatsoever to stop that boat. They could quite easily have stopped that boat using the warship near French shores, as the Belgians do, as the Australians do, but they're doing nothing at all. I'll post some further updates later as we get more news from here on the English Channel.
Wonderful. We're going to have more updates from Chris Philp on his investigation in the middle of the English Channel into small boat crossings. You know, I thought this guy was supposed to be an MP, but he's turned himself into some sort of reporter or podcaster. Look, he said here that the French should stop the boat. Stop the boat how? He said, well, it's a warship. Of course, a warship can stop a dinghy. How can a warship stop a dinghy? Is he suggesting that the warship sink the dinghy? So, okay, what's happening here? A dinghy is crossing the English Channel, a warship has discovered it and is shadowing it across the sea. Now, what can the French Navy do? They can take two courses of action. They can try and sink it, well, that would be in breach of international law and humanitarian law. This would be against the laws of the sea. They're supposed to provide assistance. Now, if the people on the dinghy are not in direct danger, if the dinghy is not going to sink, then there's no obligation on them to take the people out of the dinghy. If the people don't want to get out of the dinghy, there's nothing the French Navy can do. What would Chris Philp suggest they do? Stop the dinghy, try and sink it, and then take the people on board and then take them back to France? And then what's going to happen? Well, the people would just get on the next dinghy. They don't want to stay in France. They want to be in Britain. Why is this so difficult for people like Chris Philp to understand? But also this idea, what we need to do is convince them to stop this boat. How can they stop a dinghy? It doesn't make any sense. Like, the only way they could stop it would be to sink it. And the French Navy are not going to do that. So what they're doing is they're shadowing this dinghy that wants to go to the UK, wants to get to Britain, because that's the law of the sea. That's what they have to do. They can't stop it because it would risk the people dying, so they have to shadow it until a border force boat arrives and it can shadow it to the English coast. Like, what do the Tories and Reform want the Navy to do, the French Navy or the British Navy to do? What do they actually, the Royal Navy, what do they want them to do? To shoot the boats in the sea? To force them back? Like, it's a pretty dangerous water to be in the first place. So what can the Navy do that would protect lives and bring them back to the coast? And once again, even if you did bring them back to the coast, what do you think would happen the very next day? The proper solution here is, of course, a safe route. Now, the Conservatives, I really don't understand that. I don't understand what Chris Philp and the Conservatives are doing at this stage, because this is not helping them. The only people who benefit from this is Nigel Farage and Reform UK. Now, maybe in Chris Philp's constituency, he thinks he can win back some voters by acting tough, by engaging in these political stunts, but it's damaging to the Conservative Party, because anyone who's concerned about immigration will blame you for the numbers. They say, why should we vote for the Conservative Party? When you were in charge, the numbers went up. You said, oh, we're going to bring down the numbers, and you lied. Or you were not capable of. So what we're going to do is we're going to vote for somebody else. And that other person who cares about immigration, or pretends to, is Nigel Farage. So we're going to vote for Farage because he's the real deal. He has constantly talked about immigration, and he will be our messiah. So if you're worried about immigration, worried about small boats, then you're going to vote for the messiah figure. You're not going to vote for somebody who has failed. I really don't understand. And this is an honest question. Why are the Conservatives engaging on this topic? It doesn't help them. And worse than that, it's actually driving people towards reform. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.